speed to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun, as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Hello. Good afternoon. It is 20 minutes past here, 2 p.m. in the Central European time. And I see that we have Helle with us and we have Susan with us. Good afternoon, good morning, ladies. Yeah, tiny bit late, just wrapping up the last bits for some work. And then I was like, yeah, we are live. It's Monday and it's a new week. When I woke up this morning, I was like, oh my God, it is wet outside, but it's actually gotten a lot better now. 10 minutes ago, the sun was shining. Now it's cloudy again, but it's a lot better than the rain. I was like, oh my goodness, it's really autumn today. New week, autumn, my goodness. So, good morning, Diane. Wonderful to see you. I'm still tucked up because I have this eternally fear of getting a cold again. I still have a snotty nose and some coughs once in a while, but it could be a lot worse. Happy Monday, Revenant. As I just said to everyone else, I thought it was going to be a really rainy autumn today, which it was when I got out of bed. And after I got out of shower and got downstairs and pulled up the curtains and prepared to start working, it was still like raining and dark. And I was like, oh my God, it's really winter. Like, well, autumn at least. Yeah. But since then, this rain has stopped and I've even seen the sun once today. So it's getting better. So I guess it is going to be a good week, hopefully. A few things has definitely happened since Friday. It's not that long. You know, we guys were hanging out Friday. I had a great time. I haven't worked on the shawl since Friday though. Um, ooh, this is where we are at. This looks really fancy because now we have all um the lighter purples in here as well, but it looks like it's a lot more silvery, even though it's not. It's just a light purple in between here because we now have two threads of the darker purple, one thread of the lighter purple, and then the silvering lyrics thread. But basically, it's this purple that you can see popping through. And happy Monday, Megan. It's a happy Monday in many aspects. So, all of you who were with me Friday knew a little bit about the drama kind of going on. And this guy threatening me with lawyers and all that stuff. I was going to participate at an event, which I had kind of been invited to come and participate at with my business. Um, and that's actually taking a turn. I wouldn't necessarily in the sense of saying for the better, because he still sees me as a serious competition, so he's not happy. Um, which probably like I've tried to like weigh the pros and the cons here, because uh, I am probably gonna make myself an enemy there, to some extent. Um, but at the same time, I'm likely not to need a lot from his store because I do have enough good connections. If I need anything that he provides, I'm probably able to go directly to the dealers given my past as a top athlete. So I'm less concerned about that. Um, but the place where this event takes place, in fact, he's a sort of a general secretary or president or something like that of this um, sport location, and he sent me an email Friday evening, like probably I don't know 4 or 5 hours after our live finished. And he stated there if I had any issues with this guy or if he made any drama during that event, he would have zero issues going down to tell him that he could pack up his shit and go home. Like literally being like, if he's making any fuss, then he will be told that he shall not have a stand at this venue this year. And I'm quite sure it's one of his big selling venues. So, in other words, he's been told to just accept that he's not going to be able to change the thing. He has no course to step to the judge or anything like that. So that's just a fun fact update for you guys on the latest drama of the real life aspects. So I'm quite happy that that I seem to have a lot more support than I thought I would have. So that's amazing. Anyhow, the LapsangTea Shawl. I just felt like sharing this with my heart because all of you guys were listening to me saying that indeed he was such a jerk, which yeah, he's not happy, but that's what it is. The LapsangTea Shawl. Where did I get to? I got to something with front post, back posts, and a bunch of them. I did this, I think, and this, and this. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. This looks familiar. Yeah. Row 13 of the repeating row. For those, again, just a quick update here, because it is gorgeous. I need to see what I'm doing. So we are in frame. Yeah. We just reached to do a color change. You can just about see it down here. And that's the first color change we had. So it is turning into these lighter purples. And yeah, we're just gonna work on this for a couple of hours today. And then next time I'll work on it, will probably gonna be on a Wednesday, because I do have a Wednesday live for you guys. That is the plan. Okay, so we are gonna head into let's see, the dual camera setting, and we'll pop you guys down. And as I said, I am sorry for all of them. Let's see, I need to change lighting, I see. So we are gonna go to, well, default it is that, so I'm gonna go lighter to be able to go darker. Ta-ta! Maybe a little lighter, like that. Or is that too light? Would the daggers have been better? I don't know. Thank you, Diane. It is gonna be so gorgeous once this shawl also has been what is it called? Blocked. Then it's gonna be even better. But looking at the time of the year, as in sense of looking at the time, it's already 20th of October today. My goodness, 20th of October already. And that just tells me that I am not going to finish this one in October, which I kind of knew, right? I was expecting this not to be finished in October, when things started really rolling, and I was like, I need to focus on the blanket as well, which I have been working on. I was working on it yesterday. That said, I didn't finish as much as I wanted to because, of course, a lot of things came in the way, such as arguing with what I had right to do and what I didn't have right to do. But yeah, according to the European law, you aren't allowed to have a monopole, which is sole trade proprieties, unless you are having copyright rules for being so, and you are the inventor of this product, like what medicinal firms do. And at that same stage, they will lose their proprietary rights after a few years. So yeah, anyhow, that's already kind of cost me a bit on the crocheting time. And I had other things to do as well. We dug out some flowers in the garden, because it was taking up too much space. We brought that with us to a trip we went on Saturday. We were to Germany to get some awesome schnitzels, and to see my partner's family. And one of them wanted these bushes for the garden, so we had to dig them up and bring them with us because we live like an hour from one another, so it's not just something that we'll just quickly dig up and go buy for a cup of coffee, so to say. So we got that done too. Yeah. So it's been a bit of a weekend, and then my body has just told me that it was totally wrecked from whatever I did, which wasn't a lot. Megan says, I went to Rhinebeck this weekend. It was so much fun. The biggest sheep and wool festival in the US. That sounds like a wonderful place to be, especially if it was good weather. I hope it was good weather, or at least it was dry, right? Like, I'm kind of okay with it being a little windy and grayish, and so as long as it doesn't rain, like being outside on a fair is not fun when it's raining. Of course, what the Scandinavians say is that there no bad weather, it's just a question of bad clothing. I will partially disagree because I do not do very well when I get cold and wet. It was perfect weather, not too hot or cold. Oh, that's awesome. That is really awesome to hear. I should maybe, I don't know, see if I can put this a little bit more into, not completely in frame yet. You can get a little bit of it in frame. Because if I put too much of it in frame, there's no room for me to work, actually. That's not a good place to be either. That works. So yeah, it's been a productive weekend. I got some volunteering work done that I also do that has zero to do with crochet. I got my valued at taxes done, which has been screaming of me for the last 3 weeks. So I've done things this weekend, so that I've been happy with that. And coming weekend is gonna be another busy weekend. Oh my goodness. So yeah, right now it's just me chipping along the best way I can. The Scandinavians are a bit touched in the head. The winters with like 4 hours of sunlight causes some permanent damage. Maybe. I think so. I'm lucky enough to live far enough south that it's like we do have more light in the winter. In the summer, when it's midsummer, we have maybe 4 hours of darkness at best in the evenings. And I generally prefer summer to winter on that account. That is one thing that's for sure. That is not much to argue about. I am though happy that I do not live north of the polar circle for the concept of full darkness in the winter. I'm not sure that I personally would go very well with that. I am too much of a sun person for that. Um, and yet I don't necessarily need sun. I just need warmth. Not a lot. Not like like you know, the perfect place for me would be in the summer we have 25 degrees, and then in the spring and autumn you have 20 degrees, and then in the winter you have 15. And it's always like it rains in the night and it's sunshine in the day. But there is no perfect world for me. I also know that. Probably the closest place I've been that would match these requirements sounds to be like New Zealand. The Northern Island of New Zealand, in many aspects, seems to be able to meet these requirements most of the time, with some exceptions. I have a friend from Norway who love it, but he's a bit crazy. Yeah. I think I think it is special to experience, but I don't think I would like to live in it day in day out, if that makes sense. The one thing about Texas that is nice is that we get 2 weeks of wind and 5 months of autumn. Downside is the 6 months of summer. Yeah, I get that. Definitely get that. It's warm, isn't it? Like, I think it is at least. Okay, I see. I am at the tip. I'm just going to catch up with the pattern here quickly. And that just basically says continue where you were at. No change. And we do not add any center there. We just do the chain 2. Okay, sure, I can do that. I could do that. I am curious to see if we reach to get a color change today. If we go from the 2 darker purples into, instead of having 2 lighter purples and a dark purple. Of course, we had larger chance if I had actually been quicker with work this morning. But I was slightly distracted. Part of it also due to me, just a moment, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Part of me due to I was trying to organize an appointment with a sport massage therapist, which I have done. Hallelujah. If it's going to be any good, I don't know, but we will see. Because really my neck, shoulders, and back needs something. And right now I'm at a stage where, while I do feel my physiotherapist fixes a lot of my issues when I get my neck cracked, so to say, and the rest of my body and joints put back into normal space, it seems like it's not completely enough. Like I still have tension issues causing some pains that really shouldn't be there, and that is likely due to muscles because it's not due to the joints being stuck, which normally is my issue for pain. So I've decided to invest in myself and a little bit of luxury. And that is gonna be Wednesday evening. So I'll still be live as per usual. Ta-ta. Should also have 9 on this side. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We do. We're getting days where overnight is 12 degrees and the high is still 26.7. They're almost, and we're almost to November. Last week we were still above 30 degrees Celsius. Yeah, I don't need 30 degrees Celsius. 30 degrees Celsius is just too warm for me. Genuinely, I'd like it a bit colder. On the other hand, I'm probably okay with 1 or 2 days being warm. It kind of depends on also the surroundings you have. We have been talking a lot, we have been discussing the opportunity of maybe, or the option is maybe a better word for this. We have been discussing the option to invest in air conditioning, in an air conditioning system, because the air conditioning system can also be used to heat up our home, and that would run on power. And the issue we have is that right now our heating system is running on natural gases, and that is expensive for various reasons. So it would be cheaper for us to change to power or electricity. Also, the benefit is that we do have solar panels on our roof, so we can partially cover some of those bills through that. So it is a way to limit some costs on the heating, as well as it would be a little bit comfortable when it has the warm days in the summer. Hello, Alpha. Wonderful to see you this afternoon. So yeah, right now we are discussing if we should maybe next year invest in an air conditioning unit. Actually, then we will need one for downstairs and one for upstairs, because when it is heading to these crazy 30 degrees plus outside, then at some stage it just gets too warm also indoor, even though our house is pretty well insulated. So as long as we then keep windows shut and stuff like that, it takes quite a bit for it to be like annoyingly warm. So this row is basically a bunch of combined front posts and back post up crochets, which we are checking along on. And the yarn I'm using is a Stanley Muffin Mini Luxe. For those curious, that would be the label here. The Stanley Muffin Mini Luxe is a 90% acrylic and 10% lurex. 250 grams to 1,000 meters, or 8.8 ounces to 1,093 yards. And just shortly to say, this is the cake. It is quite cylinder shaped, so it's a quite tall cake compared to what one is used to. And that, I don't know why they make them like that, but that's just, I've gotten used to it. And so far, this is working up nicely. It is the second time I'm using this yarn, and I feel I need to refill my stash, but I haven't shopped yarn yet for October, and I shouldn't, because I'm a good girl and I'm supposed to shop my stash. So that is what I'm doing right now. And now I'm supposed to get all the praise from Susan, because she is really keeping me on the toes for shopping my stash. And I totally agree with her. I really should shop my stash. Of course, there are a few things that would love me to do other things, but I really should just shop my stash. Next question will be, after this project, what project will I work on next? I'm gonna have a look at shawl patterns and what I have as cakes. It's also quite important sometimes to then consider how much yarn do you have lengthwise in the cakes you have compared to what does the pattern call for. Because sometimes some patterns eat more yarn than you might anticipate. I have seen some I have seen, and I first noticed that after we last time checked out Hobby Yarns, they have a new cake and there is a wool in it. My goodness, I saw it and I was like, I need. And I'm going to actually see if I can find this for you guys because I feel like you deserve to see it. I haven't bought it. I haven't bought it, but I'm really keen on actually saying I should. And then you know me again, I guess that makes so sense. Let's see if I can just now I want you guys to see it. It's a cake. It's a cake. It's a cake. Let's see if I can find it. It's a hobby cake. I have the Twister edition. I still want the green one, but it's sold out, so it's not happening. Is it here? Maybe I should go look at cake yarns instead. That would be so much quicker actually. They should have this cake yarn. There we are. Oh, their sale items changes tomorrow. It's out of stock. The green one. Let's see if I can find it. I should be able to find it. I've seen it a few times now. I'm surprised that the classified Jada cake here, but it's because it's darker than the Halloween. But that's not the cake I've seen. I also want the cascata at some stage. I'm still trying to find. That's the Christmas ones. Honolulu. Are they back? Interesting. Because they were sold out for quite a time, but they seem to be back. And it's because I have the idea that one of the yarns I have in my stash looks very much like this blue one. But I think they're just 800 meters and the one I have is 1,000, so it's not the same. I do like them actually. Not bad. Anyhow, that wasn't the cake I saw. I've seen these, and these, my friends, are, I think, here they are. Look, cozy cakes. They are here. Aren't these gorgeous? Like 80% acrylic, 20% wool. They're thin threaded. So 200 grams to 800 meters. So they're similar to cotton cakes from what are they called? Cotton King's Sultan, because they also require 3.5 to 4 millimeter needles or crochet hook. And they are so this is so gorgeous. Like, my goodness, I am in, I want. Look at these colors also. Yes, please. It screams Stine by me. But I'm definitely not going to pay 28 euros for them. Pumpkin Joy. This is a gorgeous orange. But I also very much like, well, the purple Iris Wonder this is gorgeous too. But also this one, this golden jumper, is a really nice, like heather, like sage green. It's gorgeous. I really like these colors. All of them, more or less. The spring one is also nice. So they are like, oh my goodness, but for full price, I'm not gonna get them. Maybe if they go on sale at some stage, I'll get them. The cozy cake is a yarn that advises you get cozy and let alone color transitions unfold stitch by stitch. The cozy cake is light and airy while you keep your warm during cold months. The combination of acrylic and wool helps the yarn keep its shape while also is soft and easy to care for. So it's really nice for like a warm shawl, but also like you could probably easily knit like a sweater or something from this. It says like your cozy cake is perfect for all kinds of projects that make the cold months a bit cozier. Like warm shawls, scarves, pretty sweaters, poncho, and light blankets. Knit with a pair of 3.5mm needles or crochet with a 4.5mm hook and watch the long color changes unfold. Like, just yes, gift them to me. They also have this nice, like you can really see here the full color transition of the cakes. I really, really like them. I think they look great. That said, I'm not paying full price for this. I'm way too greedy. These, on the other hand, are very much like Papatia's Angora yarns, Angora cakes. I'm quite sure it's the exact same. Also, if I look at this blue one, I had a video actually where I compared Ice yarns Angora cakes to the Papatia Angora cakes and concluded it's more or less the same yarn, if it's not the same. And if I look at the color options you get offered here, this, and this I have in my stash, but branded as Papatia Angora. I like this colorway though. But the Papatia yarns are so much cheaper than the 15 euros that they charge here for the cake. This is a shorter cake though compared to the other ones. I think the other ones is like 200 grams to 1,000 meters maybe, or 1,050, 1,100. I don't remember exactly anymore. But yeah. So we don't get much crocheting done from discussing those cakes, but I think they were really, really gorgeous, and I would love to have them. So who knows? Maybe next year, when it's been my birthday, I get birthday discount. Maybe I'm lucky they're on sale at the same time. That would be perfect. I don't know. We'll see. But I know one thing for sure, that is I am not gonna pay a full price for them. I'll be getting them for some sort of discount. When I get them. It's not an if, it's more like a when. I don't know when is, but eventually. I'm not in a rush because I have so many other things to work with. So yeah, that was the new cakes that they had gotten. What's your thoughts? I think they were gorgeous. I could share the link in chat if you should be interested in it. As I said, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, but I'm not paying full price for it. No chance. Megan says she wants one too. I do not blame you. Raven says wool yarn is pretty, but it makes my hand itch. I am very sorry about that. I'm happy it generally doesn't make my hand itch, but I am sensitive as to the wool I wear if it's close to my body. So I can't just wear anything. And sometimes a wool may not seem itchy when you just have it in the skeins, but when it's worked up, it turns itchy somehow. I don't know why, but yeah. Sorry, we had a yarn split. I had to save. So yeah, I also do experience yarn itches, but I'm not allergic. I'm just sensitive. I think that would be the. So I have no allergies. Well, I do have one allergy, but that has nothing to do with wool. I am hyper allergic to wasps. So if I get stung by a wasp, you just call 911 basically, because I will need medical help. But next to that, I should have no allergies from what I know. I do have some sensitivities, like I can be sensitive to some wools, but also I can be sensitive to food sometimes. Like, your stomach says some foods it's rather not wanting to eat. It doesn't mean that I can't eat them, but if I eat too much of it, it will say, nah, that wasn't so fun. Remnant says, I had a really bad reaction to mohair, started getting hives. I gave that yarn away to a lady at my monthly stitch group. I'm sure the lady was really happy, and I'm very sorry to hear that you're having these issues. Actually, I have some yarn up in my stash that is looking like mohair, but it is 100%, I think it's polyamide, or it's a combination between acrylic and polyamide. So you get the mohair look, but you don't get the reaction that some people do to wool. Yeah, I have an EpiPen too. And in my case, I also had to carry it with me to COVID vaccinations because they panic out when they hear that you have an allergy, basically. So I went to the vaccination sites and I told them, yes, I have my EpiPen, don't worry, I'll be fine. And then I looked at them again and said, and if you are using the Pfizer vaccination, I should be fine because so far I've only had Pfizer and I've not reacted to it. Well, that's not true. I've been sick from it, but that had nothing to do with an allergic reaction. That was just, your body reacting on getting a foreign thing in and saying, I'm sick because you gave me something I'm sick from. I swear to you, the first 3 vaccinations I've had with COVID, I've been like sick. Like it takes about a day, and then I'm sick for half a day. Like fever and everything, and then I'm fine. That's basically my only reactions I've had to the COVID vaccines. But I'm pretty happy I've gotten them because I have had COVID once, and I can tell you it was not a very fun moment. It's not something I wish even on my worst enemy. So let's see. We're almost at the end of this row, which is again, as I said, it's one of these. So front post, back post. So it does make this very nice. What should we call it? Relief. Like it changes how the pattern looks rather than just regular double crochets. And I am really looking forward for plucking this shawl. But I think time for finishing this shawl, we should probably put some time due November is more realistic. She loved the yarn. It was a really pretty mottled look with a deeper burgundy, almost purple color going up to white. Oh, that sounds gorgeous. So I am really a sucker for reds, actually, which is a bit funny because you haven't seen me do much with reds. But I really like red and greens. Red and green are like my faves. And yet I often end up doing something with blue. I also like blue. 2, 4, 6. Now I need to check how the finishing end is. I do think it is simple if I remember right. It is. It's just continuing. So I have 2 more back posts to do here. And we have our first full completed row in the color changed color. And then we need the 2 and a treble. What's next row gonna be? Well, that's easy. This is gonna be a quick row. Oh my goodness. I apologize for any yawning today. I don't know where that's coming from. Oh no. I took the wrong stitch. Okay. Because that was actually the second last stitch and not the last one. It wasn't just not that visible due to have done the back post around the post instead. That seems better. It was also too easy to do. Yeah, that looks better. Much better. Good morning, Lisa. I hope you had a most amazing weekend. I got stuffed Saturday evening eating schnitzel. And I think that we concluded that that was a schnitzel factory that we had visited because, oh my goodness, they had a crazy amount of schnitzels there. Um, it was just one production line of making schnitzels, but everybody also came there for eating schnitzels, and you could also do takeaway schnitzels and everything, and it was really good. Like it was really good schnitzel. It was tasty. It was just so weird being at a takeaway place, seeing them, you know, making so many schnitzels, and people came to pick them up, and we definitely weren't the only Dutch there. In this German place. They were definitely having good business. Anyhow, this row is basically just a bunch of chain, skip 1, double crochet, chain, skip 1, double crochet. So in that sense, it should be a quick row. Lisa had a good weekend, a very relaxing day yesterday. Well, ours ended up being a very, very relaxing day too. We slept out, which was needed. I'm really proud, by the way, because I didn't overstuff myself at the restaurant, even though that would definitely have been possible. Um, I was definitely full, but I didn't overeat. And yeah, the thing is, I could probably have been eating more had I been presented with more food, but it wasn't needed either. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And Lisa also has a schnitzel restaurant in her town. There's so many types of them, and some definitely better than others. We were visiting Vienna a couple of years ago, and the schnitzel place there, there's a chain there called Fiegelmüller. They have 2 restaurants there. They are making really good schnitzels as well. They're basically known for being more or less the world's best schnitzel. And they really made some nice schnitzels too. Um, a lot of people don't know the difference between a Wiener Schnitzel and a Wiener Schnitzel art or Wiener art. But I can tell you the difference if you would like to know. A Wiener Schnitzel is made of calf meat, so it's made from calf, cattle, cow, baby cow. And a Wiener art is from pork. So there is your fun fact on schnitzels. Veal. Thank you for correcting me. It sounds also odd to say calf schnitzel because it comes oddly out, but that's veal. Yes. My tea's still hot. I literally just brewed it, so it's really a good thermos because it's like still burning my tongue. But I literally just brewed it before I went live. It's very classic Earl Grey, but in the Russian style, which basically means Earl Grey with a hint of citrus. Rowan says, all good, you speak several languages and English has an insane vocabulary. Yeah, it does for sure. I have, though, learned. Now, please excuse my language in a few. Should you have any children watching this, now it's the time to have them hold their hands for their ears or tune out. But there are also differences in English between the English language, so Queen's English, so to say, or English from the England, UK English, to, for example, US English or Australian English or New Zealandian English. And the very classic would be that an English person could say, I'm pissed and I need a fag, which definitely would not necessarily mean the same in US terms, because the US will definitely misunderstand the I'm pissed and I need a fag. They could turn that into I am upset and I need, well, a homosexual. And in English, it basically translates directly into I am drunk and I need a smoke. Not exactly the same thing. And it's quite funny that words can differ so much in between languages. Um, we have similar things in Danish and Dutch, by the way. Lisa says, I think the English is the most difficult language to learn. I don't know. I found English a lot easier than German, even though that German and Danish should be much closer to one another, which they definitely aren't. English is the most romantic of the Germanic, and French is the most German of the Romantic languages. Okay. English has nothing on Mandarin or other inflective Asian languages. Yeah, I don't think that Danish have either, but Danish is also a Germanic language. But in Denmark, we really like to have words where we have letters that's not pronounced. Okay, there are a few in the English language as well. But we have this classic hvem, hvad, hvor, hvornår, hvorfor, which is basically like which, whom, where, when, why. And there's an H in front of all these V's, which is not a W, but an angle V. Yeah. Dutch gets worse because Dutch has this. They're saying like, is it a fee or a V? Apparently, that's the difference between a single V and a W. Like crickets, you can barely hear the difference. So at least in Danish, we clarify them as a V and a W. Like, but that's because we rarely use the W in our language. We do have, though, 3 extra letters in our alphabet. And they are the A, U, and O. A is a collection of an A and an E slashed together. I'm gonna type in the chat. I think that's easier to show you guys. The A is the first of the extra letters we have, which is basically an A and an E combined. That could be in the word æsel, which is the Danish word for donkey. Then we have the Danish ø, which is an OE combined. Ø is a word on its own. It means island. But it could also be in the word fløde, which is the word for cream. Then we have O, which is basically like a double A. So instead of writing a double A, you do a single A with a circle on top. O could also be its own, very own word, which is a water stream. Or it could be, let's see, also, which is not really a nice word to explain, which is something that's decaying. So more nice would likely be to say it's a small water stream because it's a word on its own. My 2 favorite English jokes are: English does not borrow phrase it follows other languages down dark alleys, hits them over the head, and then rifles through their pockets for loose vocabulary. Yeah, English has, I know that for sure that English has borrowed at least 2 words from the Danish language, which you are also using as in today, and that's borrowed from the times of the Vikings, obviously. And these are the word for knife. So the Danish word for knife is kniv, and that over times, even spelled this more or less the same, turned into knife. And then we have, of course, the word of window, which is vindue. That's also translated over time into English and been used. And then, of course, I know the Dutch is also borrowing words, like we have some French words in Dutch as well. The second goes, Gothi is not a real fish, but a famous example of intentionally misspelled word. To demonstrate the inconsistencies of English spelling, it is pronounced fish by taking the F sound from enough. Okay, the I sound from woman and the SH sound from nation. The I sound from woman. Maybe. That I didn't catch, but the SH sound from nation? Yeah, it's definitely there. In Denmark, we have, or in Danish, we have soft D's. And a soft D is, you can hear it if I pronounce the word of billede. It ends on a DE. But technically, the Danish soft D, you can pronounce it the same way if you just say in English the, like the house, the cat. That, especially you have a D, like an E after the soft D, it's exactly just like the. That's the best way of saying it. My next challenge would be to start reading Danish crochet pattern, I guess, because I don't know half the words from some of them, but I think some of the termination is also, what should we call it? Borrowed from English, maybe. I don't know. We are getting slowly closer to the center of this row. And I'm still curious to see if we get a color change today. Maybe we will. I still need to cast on for my hat. Haven't done that yet. But I have progressed on Fleur. I'm proud. I had a dream to change color on Fleur, but I'm not sure if I'll reach it. I need to check the pattern for the center. Just one moment, please. Something is not adding up. I have a stitch too few. Craigs. Where did I skip a stitch? Or why do I suddenly have a stitch too few? Doesn't look like I have. Okay. They are gonna be 7 double crochets in between each. And they're gonna be on top of those. 4, 6, 7. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How did this happen? I've tried reading Spanish crochet patterns and I can make most out of it, but it was a simple pattern. Yeah, sometimes it's also, I think I would probably eventually succeed, but I would definitely require some practice. Did I not do enough on this side? That should have been right too. Two, 8. That's good. That's good. Looks like there is a mistake in the pattern. Or I've missed something somewhere along the lines. Definitely also a possibility. Doesn't look like it. But it doesn't look like it. So if that's not the case, then I don't know what happened here. I'm a stitch short. I am a stitch short. How will it look on the other side? Now I need to count. I'm just doing every second as to where I would be placing the double crochets and see where I would come out. And if I have the same mistake on both sides, I'll just throw in an extra stitch to fix it, because I'm not in the mood to attempt to unravel to figure out where. But if it's the same on both sides, I've obviously made the same mistakes on both sides. 2, 2, 2. Which I have, so that's positive. Hallelujah. Let's just check the rest of the pattern from here on. Should be okay. So that's what we're doing. We are fixing it like this. We'll add an extra stitch. 1, 2. And this is very probably not according to, but it's gonna be a very minimal difference. So can you see it in reality? Yeah, well, if you know it. I had to do a similar thing with the Purity Shawl because of the pattern stitching also not adding up to be able to make repeats. Here repeats are including, so I must have done a stitch short somewhere between row 20 and row 14. It's fine, no one will be able to tell. Very few will be able to tell exactly. And given the fact I have the same issue on both sides of the center, it won't be noticeable unless you know it. Well, you guys know it, so. But I feel utterly fine with that. Now you can get to keep my secret. Yeah. I still have this dream to finish Fleur's current color, the Emperor, here in the month of October. And it's could be possible still. I am lightly optimistic, but I also only have the regular days to work on it, like during weekdays. Because next weekend I will be away for the whole weekend, so I won't be crocheting at all. Um, I am debating if I should take something with me. Um, for in the car or something like that, but I just don't think I have the time nor the energy, so I'm just gonna have a weekend off from crocheting. It's probably gonna be what's gonna be in this. Part of being an experienced crochet is knowing which mistakes you can hide and how to hide them. I feel extremely experienced right now. Thank you for the compliment, Lisa. Or was it just fact sharing? Or maybe it was a bit of both. Revenant says we just pretend we are ancient Greeks and the mistakes were intentional, so not to make them perfect item and draw down the wrath of Olympus for our hubris. Valid, valid. I actually didn't know that the Greeks were also looking on it like that. I do know that some religious people still in the faith within Christ, so to say, has the beliefs that um, people shouldn't be perfect, only God is. I did not know that the Greeks and their ancient gods had a similar thing. So I actually just learned something, yeah, if that happens to be the case. Regardless, I'm not that religious. I do believe there is something undescribable between heaven and earth, so to say, if we should call it heaven and earth. Um, there is something that can't be described and probably shouldn't be described. Um, but I cannot define if it's a god and what name that god has or what not. I do respect all religions, but I'm not that religious myself. And I'm rather fine with it, to be honest. My son-in-law is Irish. Grandmother says you have to make mistake in your crochet or your soul gets trapped in your stitches. Oh my goodness, that would be scary. So we have to make mistakes. So our soul doesn't get trapped because that would be a horrible experience, I think. I guess I'm more annoyed with the fact that I didn't think I had made a mistake, and apparently I must have, but I can't see it. So maybe I just didn't pay enough attention at some stage. That is definitely a possibility. We are almost having leftovers tonight. I do need to bake a sausage, but we do have some leftovers of some kale, which you guys have heard of before. Um, I ended up doing this dish yesterday when I was doing groceries because I caught the meat on sale. Because the meat is horrendously expensively priced. There has been an insane inflation on foods compared to the prior years. So I am actually going to be curious to see if my employer is also a company that will give the occasional salary increases based on inflation. I hope they are. I'm going to a class tonight with my daughter to learn how to drop spindle. Oh, that's a way to spin yarn, isn't it? If I remember correct. Sounds fun though. Yeah, it's a way to spin yarn. Goo, I remembered correctly. Point for me. Yay! Awesome. Meanwhile, we are closing up to 3:30 p.m. here in the Netherlands. And you can slowly feel that sun is starting to set because it seems to be darker outside. So, and it's gonna get even it's gonna be really bad next week because our time changes on Sunday. We are gonna go back in time. That means that there will be until the US have had their time changes. We will have a 7-hour difference between Europe, so my time zone, and Eastern. So that means that I may for a few weeks be an hour early on my streams. Just a heads up. But I'll just follow my own time zone and go live when that fits. But as I said, I am likely to be an hour earlier until your time has changed. Lisa says it's opposite here. The sun is starting to rise. Yeah. I wish I could say the sun was rising. Well, it's not that it's not setting in the sense of it could also but just be clouds because it feels like it's early for that to happen given the fact that we are jumping back in time. So I think it might just have been cloud. Maybe it's gonna rain in a minute. I need to go check. What are the what's Nightbot saying? Maybe I should check that. Give me a moment. I'm just gonna finish the stitch because then the row is done. We'll have to check Nightbot. Nightbot, my friend, are you listening to me? No, you're not. You want me to type it. Let's see what the weather is not so far from me. If they say it's cloudy or rainy. Meanwhile, do take something to drink if you have something next to you. And I hope that Nightbot wouldn't mind sharing the weather, but I think he doesn't. Come on, Nightbot, be kind and share. Let's see what phone weather says. It says it should be sunny, but I disagree. And then it should rain in a bit more than an hour. That might be true. That might be true. What we could do is we could check this one. That's definitely no. It's a wet place in Europe. See, my friends, this is how it's looking right now. For the next coming hours, and it's gonna be wet. It's very wet. Like London is pouring down rain. All the very left out at this edge is the UK. This is the island of Great Britain or England, and a bit left for this red mass is London. You have Brussels and Belgium down here. Amsterdam is up here. This is Germany. Then up here you have Denmark. Rain is coming up there too. And I live right here on the edge to Germany. According to this, it's gonna be raining because this tiny thingy was just above here, I think. If we zoom all the way down, then in 15 minutes we will have a little bit of rain and then it'll be dry again. Fun fact. Oh, Winkler is wanting to share their weather, but the Dutch isn't. Conditions are rain with a temperature of 45 degrees Fahrenheit, about 7 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from the south-southeast at 11 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 96. Yeah, let's try again, because it should say. Or maybe it's because I do the question mark. Is it just... It's just without. Removed the question mark bit, didn't I? It's embarrassing, I can't remember anymore. I did think I did indeed remove it so you don't need the question mark in front anymore, because there wasn't a reason for it. The weather for Nijmegen is conditions cloudy with a temperature of 64 degrees Fahrenheit, 80 degrees Celsius. Trust me, it doesn't feel like 80 degrees outside. The wind is blowing from the south at 10 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 71. It should come some rain, and not too long. And I can also now see there's a bit of a more gray clouds outside, so that's why it got dark. Makes good sense. Okay, so we finished this row. Now we are having a row with the popcorns. But for those who want to, what we could do, we could probably do like this. And say, if you want to see, this is the back side of the shawl. So I should actually turn it around. We do have a little bit of yarn here, so I'm gonna take that on top, and that would be the front sides. Ta-ta. This camera, which I use right now, doesn't like the movements, but we are gonna go into popcorns, which means that I am gonna probably do a bit of swear words. It's not puff stitches, but thank you, Lisa. Lisa says it looks beautiful. It is moving on nicely. I think it was a good choice for the yarn. I genuinely think so. So that's positive. It does help when you have the feeling that it was a good choice. But yeah, so this row is gonna be a bunch. Oh, I did something wrong here. I added an extra double crochet, which I shouldn't do. So I'm just gonna redo. Because that is, my friends, is how you suddenly have extra stitches. So we redo that one. Chain 4 to replace the treble. Turn the work. And 2 double crochets. And then we have another 4 double crochets in the following 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's popcorn time. Lisa says, thank you for not hating us for choosing the pattern with all the puffs and popcorns. I'm not hating you because I had to do it eventually. Like it was just a question of when, if that makes sense. Some stage I would have had to done it in any case because I have it in my stash and I wanted to do them all. So of course it was more a question of when it was gonna happen. It could be that I feel like just picking a pattern myself next time. Um, I'm also not 100% sure right now if the next pattern I will make will instantly be a red teapot atelier shawl. I will make a shawl. I like to have a shawl always going, but it could very well be that I option for something else, for a different pattern, so to say. But I haven't fully decided yet what direction that is heading. I also don't need to decide right now because obviously I still have this one to work on. It could also be that I still do it because there's a few of the shawls that's a bit simpler, um, but that I could still make. I will need to check also yardage length and so on. 2, 4, 6, 7, and I do believe there's 7 in between. Yeah, popcorn, then 7 double crochets and popcorns, etc. Yeah, cool. I can do this. I'd like to close my popcorns with a chain, and I believe that's also what I'm supposed to do. But it's been a while, so I'm just double checking. Make a change to close the stitch. This chain, yeah. Okay, good. So I'm doing it correctly. That's just nice to get confirmed. It's so crazy. I'm yawning today. Is anyone yawning on the other side? That's infectious. I am really having a yawny day. My partner slept out yesterday, a lot longer than I did. And I slept out too, by the way. And after I'd been to shower, I was like, "Honey, I think you should get up because it's getting kind of late." And he agreed, and I went down, and he still didn't come down. And he apparently had fallen asleep again and slept another hour before he went into shower. Apparently, he's needed, and he slept a few times as well on the couch yesterday. So it was just like we just all needed to sleep out. I wonder what happened this weekend that's been so hard on us. 2, 4, 6, 7. And I still feel sleepy, but I slept fine. I wonder if I should check my sleep score. Um, so I have a Fitbit watch. Well, it's actually kind of getting old and worn out, but and broken. But I should actually almost check because it gets my sleep score once in a while. And I'm trying to figure out if I can compare that sleep score to how well rested I feel, or if it's just I need to do a new. I haven't found out yet if it's related or if it's just that's just how it is. But Happy slept in this morning. He was late for work. Well, honestly, mine could have slept in this morning. He didn't, but he could have. And when he then got up, and I was just finished on the shower, I was being like, "Honey, should we go back to bed to sleep?" We're like both being like, yep, unfortunately we can't, but yep, that's actually what we would prefer to do if we could. Oh my goodness. I could use a good vacation where I just didn't have to worry. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes, it would be nice. The fun thing is I could partially actually do it with my current job if I wanted to, because they wouldn't care if I first started working 3 hours later than I currently do. I just start early because, I have more of my day left for myself. It's so much better because, I have more flexibility if I know it's done. But it does allow me to, especially when I, not the past week, but the week before, I felt really bad with a nasty cold. I could easily say, well, I do need the extra sleep, so I'll sleep an extra hour this morning. And then, of course, my team lead tells me, Stina, you could have called in sick. You are allowed to be sick. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not that sick. It's like, I'm just snotty and not feeling super well. But, the thing is, I'm not that sick that I'm going to lay in the bed all day. And when I'm not that sick that I feel I need to lay in the bed all day, I will work because else yeah, why not? And given the job I have, working with a cold is not an issue. It's just I'm not working as efficiently, obviously, but I get my work done. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should be 7 here. There is. He is the boss. No one will be mad at him for being late. Yeah, that is the benefits of being self-employed, right? Definitely has benefits. I'm not self-employed anymore. I used to be self-employed fully, as a freelancer, freelancing my skills out. But now I'm having a boss. But my boss is behaving in a such way that I could be self-employed, almost. Um, and that is the flexibility I get from this job, which is also why that nobody complains when I'm like saying to them, well, keep in mind that I'll be in Denmark next week or whatever I'm doing, right? So that's so amazing. That said, I am gonna take some holidays in December because I have to be somewhere else. So I will spend some of my vacation days on that. I will, though, need to take some other vacation days at some stage. I just don't know when. The longer I don't need to take them, the better in my optics, because I can save them a bit for something more fun. 4, 6, 7. Then it's popcorn time. Plus, he bought his successor a new truck on Friday, so he can't be mad either. Always nice to get a new employee truck, right? Like, sure. That's always a good way to bribe people. I think it was at some stage discussed whether my partner should have a new car from his employer as well. But I'm not really sure how far they got into that discussion. But the one we have, it's working fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's going on 5 years. It will be 6 years in January. So it is slowly time for a replacement. Usually he gets one every 6 years ish. And that's partially also to do with the ability to resell the car for decent profits, I believe. There is some sort of agreement on that as well. The company buys the car and he gets to drive it basically and use it as his own. Plus, he gets gasoline paid and everything as long as he drives in the Netherlands, which is really nice. We got an amazing trade-ins on our current trucks. They were made in the USA, so they can ship them back without tariffs and make a ton of money on them. That's a good deal. Oh man, the US people and the tariffs. Well, that's wrong to say. It's the current administration in the US and their tariffs. I'm still curious on the end result of this. Like, are they actually making money on them, or is it costing more administration costs to do them? Is it having the desired effects? Except for the fact that people change their consumer behavior. Right? Then we can go back to the hobby yarns. I swear to you, those cakes are gorgeous. But I really don't want to pay full price for them. What would the Dutch site say? What would I actually pay for it here? I'm just checking because I'm curious, right? I would have free shipping on it though. €22. And I can get them for €15.40 if I buy at least 6 of them. Which I wouldn't, because I don't know what to use them for. But right now, Hobby actually gives me free shipping if I just spend for €9.99. Which is like, that's a darn good deal if you just need a single thing and it's on sale. But I don't. I live in basically border town, so you can tell. So I can tell you it's hurting the citizen on both sides of the border. Yeah, I can imagine. So basically, this is a view of just wanting to put money in the pockets of the government. But I wonder if it's actually gonna cost more to, because you know, one thing is that you think it's a great idea, but for all the smaller things, it just carries a crap ton of administration costs, which is probably why you have or used to have the de minimis, right? It's to limit additional administration handling of smaller packages, where the fees that they will occur for import taxes and so on would be like not worth it. Who would have thought that one could accuse what seems to be a genius guy, at least he's good at making business, one would think, of actually not being that good at making business. Oh my goodness. It's kind of ironic actually, but yeah. And here in the EU, they're just shaking their heads, being like, makes no sense. Revenant says Trump has never been good at business. Okay, so he's just inherited his empire? I don't know. But he remains in my optics a weird guy that I'd rather not be around. Two, 4, 6, 7. Yay, popcorn time. I'm getting good at popcorns, I guess. So he did inherit. He's the most expensive cosplay in history. If you took the money Fred Trump gave him in the 1980s and put it in a basic money market account, he would be worth 6 times his current net worth. Yeah, then you're indeed not very good at doing business. That reminds me, I have some business parts I need to tend to as well for my investments. One of my stocks has done insanely well, which is nice. And a part of me really believes in it, but a part of me is also thinking, how long are we going to do this well? So would it make sense for me to sell it and invest the money differently? I like the concept of dividends and that dividends can pay for expenses. And maybe I could actually invest in something that could yield better on that account. Or do I just keep faith because I actually do believe in the stock as a stock? And then just accept the potential downfall, but never reap those profits? That, my friends, is a difficult question. I haven't really decided. And regardless of what I'll do, I need to feel comfortable with my decision. But that's with all decisions and all decision making. If you feel you made a good decision at the time, then you should not regret if that later turns out not to be a good decision. He has managed to bankrupt the casino and most of its famous forever for never paying his contractors. And people still vote for him. I guess I just don't understand people. But actually then, I actually once spoke with an American about this, and a female voter, and she told me that many people actually ended voting for Trump because they didn't like the alternative, not because they wanted Trump, but it was like choosing between the pest and the plague. And I'm not really sure what rather want, pest or plague. But I have a feeling that the alternative choice right now had probably been a better choice. At least maybe that person had been less dictator-like. Because there are a lot of people in trouble. I read about a Danish guy who's living in the US, and he moved to the US to make a family with his partner, and now he's like, the question is if he's actually now there legally based on Trump's view on immigrants, where I'm like, he has children, he has a job, he's providing for his family, but now he can't because they basically locked him up while they're deciding whether he's there illegal or not. So, poor family. Like, if people are willing to integrate and make an effort for society, it really shouldn't matter. It would have been different if he was a criminal trying to make for his family. But I think he's just also working within a contracting field or something like that. Well, yeah. The world is a weird place these years. One more done. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I need to check what are they doing here. That's weird. Because they only say 6 and I need to... Ah, that doesn't add up now. Again, now I have stitches too many. 2, 4, 6. I should end there. I'm not a happy camper right now. So first of all, I should only have 6. And now I should be at the center, but I'm not because I still have 3 stitches to go. Which means that somewhere I have extra stitches. Well, which we knew, but that was because I was short stitches. So maybe I weren't short at all. Do I really want to frog this? To go back and fix? Because that's a fair bit. To fix. And that can't be fixed. I have to. Crickets. Is it up here that I made the mistake then? I really hope not. I really hope not. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. No, that's perfect. Okay. Question for you all: have everybody ever made anything from pure silk? If so, how did you block it? I haven't made anything from pure silk. Pure silk is a wonderful material, very sturdy and strong. I'm not sure how to block it. I am gonna move my yarn spindle a bit away because I am gonna frog a full row back, more or less, because I'm gonna frog all what we just did, plus all the way back here to the center. And now we know that the stitches I was short, I technically should have skipped instead of trying to make up for it. Da, 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 da. Who would have thought? And since they're equal on both sides, I need to make up for that somehow. So we'll frog back. One thing one can say is that I am really good at frogging on this channel. It's not the first and not the last time. Let's just, I guess, make me happy and laugh. So that would have been it. I did not need to add extras. I just need to skip it. So that we do. And the rest went fine. And then if I am short up here, it's not going to be too bad, if that makes sense. Who would have thought that I'm about to say it's too warm? I'm just gonna take off my scarf. So that was better. I do have a feeling I'm still gonna have maybe a stitch too many up here, but that's not as bad as 3 stitches too many. Yeah. So we're just playing catch up. I should have done the counting for the other ones before starting the row when I realized the others wasn't gonna add up, but I didn't. That was my mistake. That would have made me a pure professional, but I didn't do that. Instead, I just followed my gut. thinking that was 100% fixed, but no, 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 no. But my math tells me now that I only have one stitch too many. That, my friends, I have a good idea of how I can make up on, so. That is currently the least of my worries. But decreasing 3 stitches is a bit of a challenge compared to decreasing just 1. But yeah, also, I'm not sure if we've reached that color change today. I hope we do. I do also feel you're far away from me, actually, I realize. So I'm gonna pull you guys a bit closer. Ta, 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 ta. Oh, looks much better. Do warn you, my face got closer too. I'm going to be so happy to be done with this yarn. It's so slippery, I keep dropping my loop off my hook. I can imagine that. It's like the same feeling as when yarn splits, right? Like it keeps dropping or not behaving like you expect it to behave. So you can't do your normal rhythm of things. Reminds me of a very thin alpaca yarn I have up in my stash, where I still have one skein left, full skein, and I have no clue what to use with it. But I have been debating if I should just layer it double with an acrylic and then basically knit a hat from it, because there's enough yarn to do that. And then be like, it's gone from my stash. It's so slow. Yeah. That's what I feel with the popcorns and the puff stitches and everything else. It's slow. And I just frogged the whole side of them. For crying out loud. As if I had nothing better to do. Ah. Reminds me I still need to block a couple of shawls. They're just waiting on me, pending. And they know it, and I know it. Some of all these things I might have time for once I'm done with Fleur. I could have time for it sooner also, even if I wanted. It's just a question of wanting to. Partially if it's about wanting to make time for it. That said, October is a pretty busy month. Oh, no, no, no. I need to make the treble here. Treble. So we caught up. And then we flip. And then we hope that whatever I did fixed my lack of ability to count. It should have. But we will know in about half a row time. Because that was the n plus the 4, and then it's popcorns, 7 doubles, popcorn, 7 doubles, etc. And then I need to catch up. At least you did not get too far into the sunk cost fallacy here. It could always be worse. Oh, that's true. Everything could be a lot worse. Not gonna say I just lost an hour of work. I don't know if it's a full hour, but it sucks when you like. I think everybody knows the feeling. But I'm a perfectionist. I want it to be perfect. I don't mind doing small things that fixes an issue that you can't see as a fix. But further than that, I want it to be perfect, and that is why I sometimes have to frog. So here I am, 2, 4, 6, 7, puff time. Lisa says I also have a pile of blocking to do. Yeah. That's a time costs thing. It's costly on time, and it's definitely something I hope I have more time to do. I thought I would have. So CS, of course, if my contract had not been extended, I would have heaps of time to do it. My contract is extended. That is awesome, financially seen. And that means that my time, again, I need to prioritize. And I should most definitely prioritize to block a few projects, but I should definitely also prioritize to yeah, there are things I just need to prioritize. The entered for 6, 7. I have more than 3 shawls to block. And 2 ginger tea cowls. I probably have, I don't know, 5 to 10 projects I need to block. It's a good guess. It's a sad guess, but it's a true guess. I definitely have more than 5, and I do believe it's less than 10. But I also have so many projects I'd like to make. Well, what I should do now, before I actually get too deep into this, I should do a little counting to see if it matches where I should be when I'm on the way to the end. That is exactly what I should do. 2, 4, 6, puff. 2, 4, 6, puff. Which is not a puff, it's a popcorn. 2, 4, 6, pop. 4, 6, pop. 2, 4, 6, pop. 2, 4, 6, poppity pop. 2, 4, 6, pop. 4, 6, pop. 2, 4, 6, pop. 4, 6, pop. 2, 4, 6. And that should technically, yeah, that's a stitch too many. Though we are fine with that. Because I'll just do 2 without. We should be fine. It's just not worked in the center. Yeah, we should be fine. We should be fine. Oh, and a pair of socks that need blocking too. I made a pair of crochet socks once. It's a long time ago, my friends. This winter, 3 years ago. And they are still my stash, and I can actually fit them. That said, when I made them, they were way too big, even though I followed the pattern and I did everything according to the book, but they were too big. And well, the end result was that I was like, okay, I'll wash them and I'll just test the size once washed. They were still too big, and I was like, okay. Then, my friends, I am gonna put them in the tumble dryer. Woolen socks. And I did. And guess what? They came out and they were fitting perfectly. That was the blocking they needed, literally, to go a trip into the drying machine. I'm not sure it would be a wise thing to retry that, because I am not sure that it would be good. But reality is just that I did actually make them fit like that. Fun fact. I cannot recommend, no guarantee that it will come out good. That was a Jesus take the Vive moment, lol. Yeah, you could say that. It was definitely I'll leave the faith to the fact that I know it will shrink, and I hope it won't shrink too much. I have to say, I do prefer knit socks above crochet socks. I can't say if I prefer to make them because I haven't physically been able to knit a pair of socks yet. I really should sit down and learn it. But the knit socks feels more comfortable on the feet, personally thinking. Lisa says, I've really been enjoying knitting socks. I was pretty frustrated last time I tried. That said, I've gotten older, more patient, a little bit more experienced with yarn. So maybe it will eventually be time to give it another try. I actually do have some shock yarn in my stash, looking at me. Which means basically that at some stage I probably need to attempt knit socks from it. But yeah. I don't know. I will need to learn at some stage for sure. 4, 5. Maybe it's going to be a project for when I know I have enough time in Denmark and I don't have work on the side, or I have less work on the side, and then yeah, maybe. But the thing is, yeah, I don't know. Hmm. Or I'll need just to get the needles and then have it as a stay project for when I'm in Denmark only. Because when I'm there, that's when I need the help. Well, just generally when I'm doing them, that's when I need the help. And the help is very close by when I'm in Denmark. 2, 4, 6, 7. Because my mom can knit wonderful socks. Yarn split. We are retrying. That was better. I do have a nice stash of homemade socks currently. So I am good for a while. But at some stage I will definitely need new ones. So it would not be a bad idea to learn at some stage. Henceforth, I could definitely consider a side project when I'm there. That's not a too bad idea. But also right now it doesn't look like it all depends on how it's progressing from here on. I will be going more often to Denmark compared to what I did the last 10 years. But I may not be going once a month like I have so far in the new year. It depends on the need. I like to go at least once every like 2 to 3 months within reason, because I guess this whole situation has put things in a different light. All right. 4, 6, 7. Popcorn time. Rowan says, I have no desire to crochet socks, but if I were to become bistitsual and took up knitting, I might attempt it. I like that word, bistitsual. That's an amazing word. Oh my goodness. I think we just have a new word. Word of the day, bistitsual. I'm a little bistitsual. Um, I've mainly just, after I started knitting again, done hats, which I'm fine with, different sorts of hats. I do have this cowl in making, well, not in making, in planning, which is the one that was suggested to me by Susan. I don't know if Susan is still hanging around in the background, if she's just so busy on her project that she's all silent. But I do have the right yarn for that, so that might be my next project. But I'd like to do a top or a sweater at some stage. I'd really like to do that, but I also know that's going to be like an eternity project. um, and so would the socks likely be 2, 4, 6, 7. At the same time, I'll probably figure it out somehow. I feel crocheting and knitting is a little bit like in the old days where one would take a book and read. Which is something I don't do as much as I once did. But also with my new job, I don't have the, well, I do have the ability, but at the same time, not completely. But what I want to say with my old job, sometimes there were could be an hour or two where there was nothing to do at work, and I could just basically sit and knit or crochet. Because I was waiting for customers to call. That is not the case anymore. Now I actually need to be active when I'm working. But I can be flexible with my working hours in the sense of if I feel I need a break halfway through, I can do that. I'm just afraid if I start on a crochet or knitting project, then yeah, I may be able to take off an hour or two, but you know, I get drifted so away that I don't finish up what I started. So I'm trying my best just to get things done, and then I have time to do whatever I want afterwards, if that makes sense. Because once you get in a flow, suddenly time has passed by. You can see here, it's almost 4:30, 4, 6, 7, which is like wow. And the sun is shining because it is again sunshine. So that is why it was dark before. It was the clouds I was debating if this should rain or not. They have drifted by because when I look outside the window right now, I don't even see a cloud. Nice. I've been making them on double pointed needles, but during your live on Friday, I ordered a circular needle to try that out. I know that my auntie, so my mom's little sister, is currently trying out a system with some some needles in the round, but they're like double pointed needles, but they have like a very short connection. I don't know if they even have them on Hobby. And apparently there's like a system for doing that, and that was yeah, I can't explain them. I'm going to see if I can maybe find. Yeah, I think they could be these from the Addy. Let me jump over to my shopping view. Ta-ta. Like these. So this piece here is soft. So you technically have the double pointed needles, but you have still less needles because you only use 3, if that makes sense. So these are technically for socks, and as you can see, they bend and flex and work like double pointed needles because they're quite close to the end. And apparently this should be interesting for like knitting sleeves, socks, etc. This looks like a pair of socks on them. Yeah, flexi flips thingies. And they have like thickness from 2 millimeters to 5 millimeters. So that might be those. And I think you get 3 in a set, like, so you get a full set. Talk about an eternity project. My hubby wants me to knit him a sweater. He wears an 3X tall, so he's a long guy. 2, 4, 6, 7. My goodness, that sounds like an eternity project indeed. But you know, it's also because if I do start knitting sweaters or whatnot, you know, I'd like to do them for myself, and I also like to do other projects in between, which, yeah, you know, it's gonna be like my blanket, I fear. Yet, as I said, I made progress on it. My goal is still to have changed from Emperor to French Navy here in October. I think it could be realistic. Yeah, it is laying over there. Two, 4, 6, 7. He's 6'6" tall, so 1.98 meters, almost 2 meters tall. He is a long guy. Mine is only 185, whatever that would be in feet and inches. I believe I'm like a 5'7", so quite standard sized lengthwise. Um, Ta-ta! Well, you may be able to see it, but Lisa says she's 5'2", so yeah, you're a tiny bit shorter, one would say. Fairly, fairly and duly. Um, Given the fact that we are going to do it like this, I'll do an extra chain. We should be fine. And then we should have made up for it in the following row. The mistake, that is. 2, 4, 6. Revenant says he's 185, so basically you're the same length as my partner. Which in my optics is a fine dandy weight and length, so it's perfect, at least for me. I can wear a pair of heels should I want to. I don't wear heels very often. I'd like to underline that part, but I can wear heels without like being taller, so that's nice. I like that. 2, 4, 5. Need 2 more double crochets, that is. I had to do an embarrassing amount of math to convert from freedom units into commie. And Lisa says I never have to worry about being taller. Nope, you don't. or you have found a very, very not tall guy, if that's the case. But that's not the case. Or he's a shorty otherwise. But yeah, it's not really the length that matters. It's what's inside them, right? It's the human. But subconsciously, we all have things we prefer, and that's just how human nature is. I'm barely taller than him when he's sitting and I'm standing. I can imagine that too, because of course his whole upper body length is also taller, right? Aha. New function. YouTube is telling me that I can change my life to go from the current live into a members only function. 2467. Not that I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be a very social one for me and Revenant only then, I think. It looks like we are the only two that would be a part of that live. No, that's not happening. 2, 4. Maybe if I had more members, that's something I could do one day, but I like hanging out with all you guys. You're so nice. It's my crafty room, like my little crafty cafe. Two, 4, 6, 7. Very long torso makes good sense. My partner is 5'3" or about 160 tall, and yeah, she's also not that much taller standing than I'm sitting. I guess it also depends on the height of chairs you're sitting on, but generally I can imagine. I am tall enough to consider myself taller than my partner when he's sitting. My cousin has a quite long torso as well. He's also almost 2 meters. Like, he won't be able to sit in the back of a car without having to bend his neck. Literally. He needs a front seat. Also, partially maybe due to European cars being smaller in general than American cars, but he's a long guy too. He also wants a sweater made from a sport or fingering weight yarn. Have you asked him to maybe find some chunkier yarn just for your sanity? On the other hand, my mom has knit me sweaters and sports / fingering weight yarns. Sock yarns, if you may. And I guess it's reasonable to fair to say that I'm quite happy with them, but they would sit nicer on me if I dropped 10 pounds or a bit more. But that, my friends, I am actually progressing. I have done almost 3 pounds since I started keeping track of what I put in my mouth. I am rather proud of that. So a combination of my fitness efforts and me being mindful of what I am eating has been a quite helpful tool. 2, 4, 5, 6, oops, and 7. And I'm not missing anything because I still Saturday I wasn't as mindful. And that was also intentional because I was like, I need to have freedom also not to be what would you call it? Too passionate is not the right word, but too focused on, maniac. No. Thank you. I will make it eventually. It's the only thing he has ever wanted me to make for him. I'm going to see if I can find a yarn deal on Black Friday. I hope you will be able to find a good one, Lisa. A good deal for the yarn. Lisa says, Doctor took me off those Ozempic last week, was messing off my other meds. Yeah, choices. I'm not getting meds or help for it. It's just for me. And I know that's also the case. I just need to be mindful of what I'm doing. And I just haven't been for too long. So I just need to get back to being mindful about it. And that will be my solution. So I'm rather happy, but I'm far from where I need to be. Because I have genuinely, and this sounds mad, but ideally I lose a minimum another 40, ideally 50 pounds. 50 would be amazing. 40 would be, I would be happy. But 50 would be my ideal fighting weight, so to say, my optimal, what I used to be many years. That would be generally better for me. And that's still gonna take some time. But I also just know that if you go so focused, then when you eventually allow yourself to do things, sometimes you can get too big cravings. It's more difficult to control. So it's a matter of allowing yourself to. So I know, for the rest of this week, I need to be mindful because this weekend we're not home. And this weekend it's going to be really inconvenient keeping too much track, and we are going to eat out for dinner and stuff like that. So next weekend is my free weekend. The following weekend, I can be mindful to some extent, but generally I'm also not home. So I need to be mindful during the weekdays the coming time. I should be able to do it. Like, and then of course moving enough and all that stuff, which with the fitness center is going fine. That reminds me, I want to change my subscription there. Right now I have a subscription I can cancel once a month or monthly, and I want to change it to a yearly cancellation because I'll save some money doing so. I just didn't want it yet until I knew how I was looking work-wise, because the fitness would probably be one of the first things canceling if I wouldn't have a job, because I would see that as my least important self-care. Because I do have items at home, I should be able to some extent, take care of myself. It's just more motivating when you're actually paying for it and going to a location for it. Henceforth, my passionate willingness to go to the fitness center because I want to get my money's value worth. I have an autoimmune issues that screw up with my metabolism, so it's near impossible to lose weight. Yeah, I can definitely understand. I'll have to say, my mom also did not have an easy time losing weight due to metabolism issues and so on. And being sick was really a change, so to say. That's changed everything. Not a very recommendable diet, though. I will far from recommend it to anyone. But as she says, it's been efficient. It's a side effect she doesn't mind too much, except now it's been too much. Now she needs to gain again, but you know, she's not sad. She dropped a lot because, and that's the thing. She's like, after she lost the weight, she's had an easier time doing things that she couldn't do in the past. And I suspect my body is screaming of some of those similar issues actually. Like, I have issues with my feet, and it's not that I'm that heavy, but that is likely a part of my problem. Like, I would likely have less issue with my feet if I would just, go back to what I used to be, if that makes sense. So I will keep being somewhat mindful as to what I consume. So it's good that there's a lot of kale on the menu for 6 because that's healthy, right? Kale up for dinner. And it appears that potatoes should be more healthy than, let's say, rice or pasta, they claim. Though I'm not a big potato person unless it's like not just boiled. Two, 4, 6, 7. Yes. It looks like whatever I done is adding up again, except my center looks a little bit off. But with a bit of luck, then this row, I should be able to fix that. And then nobody knows. Da, 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 da. indeed looks like it's gonna happen. Guess what, guys? That's probably, well, I know it's the last row of the day. That was a 4. And then we have the 2 double crochets and triple for the finish. Yay! I did it! Now, next row is again one of these easy ones. It is a bunch of front posts and a back post. It makes sense. Yeah, it does. So that's my own diagnosis. The doctors haven't been able to figure out what's wrong with my feet. They keep saying like, we genuinely believe that you are experiencing pain when you are standing statically still for more than 10 minutes. But we don't know why. We see no reason for them having these issues, etc. It's just being like, we don't know why. I'm sorry. That's basically what I'm told by the doctors, right? So they believe it, but they don't know why, so therefore they can't really help me. And my end conclusion is it's probably a combination of stiff ligaments because of my autoimmune disease. It can cause stiff ligaments. So I think I think it's a combination of my stiff ligaments due to my autoimmune disease. And it's really weird to say stiff ligaments because I used to be hypermobile, like hyperflexible, which I'm definitely not anymore. And then it's likely a combination of weight. So the body not being used to the weight it carries compared to what it was used to. And then stiff ligaments. And that is likely what's causing me feet issues. And it sounds not too illogic either. That's probably the closest diagnosis I've been able to give myself. Which then means that if I actually do make an effort, maybe I could make it, I can definitely make it better, right? Can I fix it? I don't know, but there is a likelihood that I can make it better. 2, 4, 6, 7. This row is easy. But I will have to say instantly, we aren't going to finish this row. We're not even going to get through the first half. Because it is slowly getting 5 p.m. here in 4 minutes time. Which means that is usually when we'll pack it up. But then, my friends, I'll be back Wednesday. Of course, for another live. And for the matter of speaking, I'll be back Friday for the Yarn Talk video where I did, instead of Friday, we did live. But this week I will be optioning for the Yarn Talk also because it's been 2 weeks. Get a nice update, and I have a bunch of things to do in connection with the event I'm going to participate at this weekend, where all the drama potentially is to happen. And then the following Friday, normally I would then do a Yarn Talk, but I am likely gonna do another live to replace that Yarn Talk and do Yarn Talks every 2 weeks and lives every 2 weeks. That is something I've been considering, especially here when my main focus will be working on the blanket. So what I have been doing this past week. Um, I've I've done some scrunchies, yes, but it's mainly been either working here or on the blanket. And that is what it's gonna be because I genuinely want that blanket to be finished this year. And if I want to succeed with that, I need to spend more time on it. And that's just a reality. Um, Also because I know how the rest of my agenda is looking like from here on onwards. Um, it's not out of free time. I do have a fair few appointments. And we have some travels. We're going to Denmark in 3 weeks time. I'll be in Denmark. Then of course we have December coming up where I also have some travels. I'm usually 1 week in Luxembourg in December. I'll be in Denmark also for Christmas. So yeah, there's definitely a few things coming up on that agenda. 246. I'm missing this one. I have stuff I need to do as well for our business in the next few weeks. Yeah, so my trip tomorrow is obviously for a business of mine. Or not tomorrow, this weekend. The following weekend, I have a competition in Germany. The following weekend, I am traveling to Denmark. The following weekend, I have competitions. The following weekend, after that, I think I'm actually off. I need to check. I do think that's actually a weekend where I don't have any plans. Yeah, I have no plans yet. The following weekend, I do have some plans coming up for the Sunday. Then I have a few worry days because that is when my mom gets her scan. And we are heading into December. The first weekend of December is just packing and getting ready for Luxembourg. Then the second weekend of December, I'll be in Luxembourg. Then I'll be home for a week. And then we head off to Denmark for Christmas. And then it's New Year's. So I'm just looking realistically at when I have time to work. I need some evenings for that. And I'm not 100% sure if maybe I'll succeed, but I'm just realizing time flies much faster than I realize it does. But I am gonna give it a good solid try. So I will attempt to do a little also on it tonight. But I do have a few other things to do as well tonight. I have to make a ton of decals for our fleet vehicles and organize everything for a Christmas banquet for the all employees. Yeah, I also have some Christmas lunches in between in December, of course. I just don't have the dates yet, but I know I have Christmas lunches. So as you can hear, this is plenty of things to do. Like there is no chance to be bored. And if I really want to have that blanket done, then that's what I have to do. So basically, my life is my chance to do something else. And of course, as I say, I do bring The scrunchies is for if I do watch something on TV or something like that. That's an easy project for behind the TV. And further than that, not a lot. Now, looking at this, I should probably stop looking at the time, but we are going to have a little show. At our banquet, we played the White Elephant gift game, but we provide all the gifts, so I have to buy and wrap them all. That is a fair amount of work to do, Lisa. How many employees do you guys have? That is definitely a fair thing to do. A fair amount of work to do. That is a bit of work to do. Tally ho, I am back. I am gonna move you a bit backwards, like that, because you guys want to see how far I got. With the fact that we had to frog a row back, work-wise, well, it was a half and a half row, but that gives a row full, right? This is where we are at. And you can actually see the lighter purple really getting into the shawl now. Again, this shawl, unfortunately, looks best when it's blocked. And its agency is a little bit dark. Let me see if I can do the default setting. That's better. That looks better. Still not, I don't know. The camera is not completely happy with the coloration here. I'm sorry about that. Has to be a dream thing. Gets better camera or, and it's not supposed to be a bad camera. It's just not. I guess it could be better. It's on my wish list then. We have 27-ish employees plus significant others. We do gifts for both, so about 50 or over 50. Thank you. I like it. It's progressing well. I think it's gonna be even nicer once we have it blocked, right? Anyhow, I need to get going because it is past 5 p.m. here. It is 5 minutes past 5, and I need to get started on clearing up this mess I've left behind and dinner. Even though it's an easy one, but that's allowed to us once in a while. So I'm going to say thank you so much for hanging out today. If you have watched this live all the way from the very beginning on to now, thank you so much for the support. Don't forget to hit the like and the thumbs up. I love you all. Take care and happy crafting. And hey, I will see you on Wednesday around 8 a.m. Central, so around 8 a.m. Eastern. So that is 2 p.m. Central European time. And yeah, I'll see you guys either Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday morning, or it could be Wednesday evening if you're all the way down under. So, or Asia for that matter. Take care and happy crafting. Love you all. Bye.